What's up guys, Jay here with Solo YGO. Welcome to the channel if you're new. So tonight we got Friday night duel night. It's where we do basically every format under the sun. Tonight we're doing Edison and GOAT format. First up we'll be doing Edison. It's going to be myself on the bottom playing Blackwings versus Mike on the top playing his Chaos Lightsworn variant. And then later on we'll have GOAT. It's going to be Max and his Warrior deck versus Mike and his Chaos deck. So we look forward to that as well. Start things off here. We do reveal our hands, and we pretty much get comments every week saying, why are you showing your hands? We show our hands so that you guys can see. We are not looking. We have our eyes turned away. So Mike has Card Trooper Upstart, 2 Hamsters, a Plague Spreader, and a Deep Prison. Mike's going to start things off. He's going to get Upstart. It's going to give me a little 1,000 life point plus, but he's going to get thin his deck here. Go ahead, set 2 and pass. I'm going to show my hand, you guys. I have Kalut, Sirocco, Shura, Icarus, Dad, and Chaos Grepher. Pretty good hand, not going to lie. I'm going to go ahead and normal summon Sirocco because he controls a monster and I do not. I'm going to be able to run over his hamster. That was kind of my mindset. If it was a Raikou, it was going to get popped, but if it was a hamster, it would be able to run it over, so wanted to at least be able to do that, and then I was going to be able to set Icarus attack in main phase 2 and be able to stop a Raikou if it was a hamster, so it kind of worked out in that regard. So it's going to be Mike's turn. He's going to drop turn, hit him with Icarus into standby. I'll pop both of his cards, pop the Raikou before it gets to go off, and pop his back row. Got the Deep Prison there, pretty good value. Would have lost the Sirocco regardless if I would have let him flip it, so he's going to normal summon Card Trooper, mill 3 so that it gains 1500 attack. It's going to go up to 1900. Card Trooper also allows him to draw a card if it gets destroyed by battle or card effects, so he's going to beat me for 1900 and pass it over. I'm going to summon Shura. Card Trooper did lose its attack at the end phase, so it is now a small body again. We'll beat over his Card Trooper and get the effective Shura. However, he will get his draw off of it. In the battle phase still, be able to summon Blizzard, then attack for another 1300 points of damage. In the main phase 2, I got a Synchro summon just because my Blizzard's too vulnerable out there. It's going to get beat over, so might as well go into Synchro, go into the Arm Wing. Mike's got the good top deck. He's got Charge of Light Brigade. Pretty good value, always being able to mill 3 and then go for anyone that you want. He's got all the generically good cards that go in the graveyard as well, like Necrogardener, Plague Spreader. Just a lot of value there. If he gets Darks in the graveyard, he can go into Dad. He's going to set 1 and pass. Setting is vulnerable against Armwing just because it gets the damage boost and the damage step of 500, and also it can pierce. I have exactly 3 in graveyard, so it doesn't matter. Going to Dad, Banish, Pop, normal summon, and that is enough for the last 5,300 life points. And then double Kalut for the Arm Wing just to make sure. Mike had a decent hand and just wasn't playable for the situation. He got stuck with 5 cards in his hand. You never like to see that, but as we're going to see, Mike comes back a bit stronger in round 2. Draws a really good hand. He draws Book of Moon, Necrogardener, Avarice, Solar Recharge, Charge of Light Brigade, and Caius. Pretty strong. The Solar Recharge plus the Charge of Light Brigade is just really good. So he's going to mill 3 and then be able to add any Lightsworn from his deck to his hand. He's going to go ahead and add Lila, the Lightsworn Sorceress. And he's going to immediately pitch her to draw 2, then mill 2. Pretty good. He's going to get a lot of things going in his graveyard right off the bat, and he hits a Plague Spreader, which is very nice. But he's going to set 1, set 2, play a little conservatively, not be too aggressive, and pass it over. Show my hand. I have Vayu, Grepher, Dad, Oppression, Sirocco, and Black Roll 1. Again, another very nice hand, very balanced hand. No duplicates. You get the Chaos Grepher plus the Vayu, which is really good. But I'm going to also get Sirocco plus Wolwyn, which is equally as good. And then also have Dad, so I'm going to add the Gale. I figure that he probably has a set Raikou. I know that if he has a deep prison, I'm kind of screwed regardless. But I wanted to go into Stardust Dragon, so that if it's a Raikou, I can negate it and he won't get the mills off of it. But of course, I attack and he's got the deep prison, so Stardust Dragon's gonna get banished. Gonna go ahead and enter main phase 2, go ahead and set 1 and pass it over. Mike tributes the Necrogarden. It was not a Raikou at all. He's gonna get the Kaya's banish on block roll, and that's really good. And then be able to Pot of Avarice, send 5 back to his deck, and then draw 2. He's going to opt to keep just Plague Spreader in his graveyard. That's the only monster he has there now. He was debating between Plague Spreader and Necrogarden. I believe Plague Spreader was the right decision to keep it in the graveyard. Draw 2. And then he's just going to smack me in the face for 2,400 points of damage. Go ahead and set a back row. And pass it over to me. Let's see what I can do. I got Vayu. No, I got Gale. And now 2 Sirakos in grave. I discard the Sirocco to bring out the Chaos Grepher. That puts me on exactly 3 darks. I'm going to go ahead and get the Dad on board. Priority Banish. I'm going to pop his Caius on summon. He doesn't have a bottomless or anything, so I got rewarded there. Do it again, try his back row. But here's where I'm going to go neg a little. He's going to be able to chain it to Book of Moon my Dad, which is really bad. Because his defense is not that much. Many things can beat over it. But I'll hit him for 17 with Chaos Grepher. Or Dark Grepher. And then pass it over. Yeah, exactly. This is what I was talking about. He's able to normal summon Card Trooper, use the effect, get 3 off of it. And also gain attack. And 1900 attack is more than enough to beat over Dad. On resolution, I'm just going to Chaos Grepher. I don't want him to bring out a Dad of his own. And then he's going to beat over. Unfortunately. You did your job, Dad. He's going to pass it over. I'm going to draw for turn. Declare the effect of Chaos Grepher. And this is just beautiful when you discard value to send a Sirocco. That's an automatic arm wing anytime you like. And of course, Vayu plays under Royal Oppression, so he cannot activate the effect of Royal Oppression on my Vayu. I'm going to normal summon Bora. Utilize the effect of Vayu in the graveyard, banishing itself and Sirocco. So 5 plus 1, that equals 6. I'll be able to get out Blackwing, Armed Wing. Decent little board going on here. Put some pressure on him, hit him for 1,300 points of damage, and he needs to draw his card off Card Trooper. Card Trooper's putting in work for him early on here in the first 2 games. And then smack him for 4k with the remaining monsters. Puts him at exactly 1,000. That means Mike can potentially Royal Oppression just one more time, which is important to note. But he's going to set 1, set 2, set 3, and this is where it gets interesting, because the line of attack I'm trying to play under Mere Force. I figured that I have 2 Piercers on board, but before I do anything, I'm going to discard value off of Chaos Grepher and then get a Blizzard Engrave. All my Siroccos are burned through, so I just want Sirocco there in case I get Mere Force or anything, because then I can use value plus Arm Wing to go into Armor Master. So I'm going to switch Dark Grepher to defense because I'm playing around Mere Force. If he has a Raikou, I only need one of these attacks to go through. He's at 1,000 points of damage. So I'm going to go with the first one first in case he has a Mere Force. He's going to deprison it, which is not good because that takes me off Vayu and Armed Wing in the graveyard. And then he, of course, does have the face down Raikou. Kind of gives it away there when he doesn't let the Boar attack go through. If it was a hamster, he would, of course, let it go through. So he has to Book of Moon it. And then he's going to make some pretty smart plays here. He's going to flip. He's targeting Royal Oppression, actually. He's going to mill 3, pop Royal Oppression. And then he's going to normal summon the hamster. He's going to top deck 1 card from his hand. And he's going to bring out Plague Spreader Zombie. Synchro Summon for level 6. He's going to go into the Goyo Guardian. Attack over my Dark Grepher, steal it. This is super big brained right here. First he's going to Pot of Avarice. He knows that if I set Bora, right? So if I flip Bora and attack his Raikou, it's game. It doesn't matter. He has to have something defensive. Like a back row, or as we come to realize, he actually has Necro Gardener in his hand. So he's able to discard it off of my Dark Grepher just to get it in the graveyard to negate one attack that would go to Raikou, and then just send a Spirit Reaper, because Spirit Reaper doesn't matter this late in the game. So if I flip my Bora, he will be able to negate it with Necro Gardener, which he does here. I didn't top deck another monster, otherwise that would have been game. I actually top decked Icarus Attack. So right now he gets a little ambitious. He normal summons Caius, targets my back row, and I'm able just to chain it. He does have Dad in hand and exactly 3 Darks in grave. But now that that happened, Caius goes to the grave, and now he has 4 Darks in grave, so it took him off of Dad as well, which is pretty good value for myself. He's going to Allure of Darkness, and he had to discard Dad. Dad's kind of... he'd have to get another Pot of Avarice to make it live again. He has nothing in his grave that could bring it back. So he's just going to normal summon Gale, use my Dark Grepher, and go into Armor Master. And from here, it's a very simplified game state, at least for myself. I'm top decking for sure. I top deck Shura, the Blue Flame, just set it down. Just hoping to draw something. Otherwise, it's not looking good for me in the long run. He's just going to recur a lot more advantage. I did draw Allure of Darkness, but I decided not to activate it. Just take damage one or two attacks and see if I can draw in anything before I pop the Allure off. Otherwise, you know, you have to discard your old hands. So I did top deck Deprison though, so I was hoping to be able to Deprison his Synchro away, but he's gonna trade a Heavy Storm and then just attack for game. So yep, Mike comes back with some vengeance there, and then we'll go on to game 3. So I'm going to opt to go first. I got Value, Brain Control, Bora, Blizzard, Icarus, and Dark Grepher. Pretty decent hand. Dark Grepher plus Value, always good. I am only playing 2 of each, so it's interesting that I'm seeing them this often. And then Mike kind of bricks a little. He's got 2 hamsters, or 2 Raikous, Hamster, Dad, and Foolish Burial. It's a playable hand, but a lot of repetitive stuff going on there. I'm going to start things off by normal summoning Dark Grepher, discard Value, and then of course send Sirocco. I don't want to activate Sirocco, and I don't want to activate. Excuse me. I don't want to activate Value right away because it does play into things like Brain Control. Yeah, there's other stuff. Caius, if he can get anything off. So I really don't want to be too ambitious right now. Just hold it there. He's going to go ahead and set, then pass it over. Now this is where I utilize the effective Value because Armed Wing on a face-down defense is just really good, if I so choose to do that. But I instead opt to normal summon Blizzard, special summon Bora now that I control Blackwing, and then in case it's a Raikou, I want to go into Stardust Dragon. Again, I don't want him to get his mills off because it negates the whole effect. Raikou is 1 effect, mill 3, then destroy, so if it negates it, he won't get the mills as well. But if it's a hamster, I'm kind of just, yeah. So it wasn't a Raikou, it was a hamster, so I take 100 points of damage. I wanted to get really rewarded if it was a Raikou. But unfortunately, it wasn't, so I didn't get the piercing damage. Instead, I took 100 points of damage. And then from here, the order of operations is pretty clear. I have to attack the hamster with Stardust, and then the Chaos Grepher with Raikou. Otherwise, Stardust will leave the field when it attacks Raikou. And then Chaos Grepher, or Dark Grepher, cannot get over Hamster anyways. So I'll be able to negate his Raikou, and then go main phase 2. I'm going to go ahead and set a card. End phase, Stardust Dragon comes back. Stardust Dragon is very strong against this deck. You know, you get things like Dark Arm Dragon, and all that. I'm about to find out his hand because I had Trap Dust Shoot. One thing I neglected to see here was the line with Foolish Burial, sending Plague plus the Hamster. I just decided to send back his dad in case worst came to the worst, but luckily I have a set Icarus attack, so this didn't go too wrong. He's going to Foolish the Plague Spreader, and then he's just going to bring the Hamster. That's his hope, was to go into a level 6. I believe he mentioned he wanted to go into Goyo Guardian to beat over Stardust, take my Stardust. So yeah, normal summon the Hamster, but on resolution to summon, because he said he's about a synchro. I just got to get rid of both of them, which is good. It outs the Plague Spreader. Plague Spreader is now permanently banished for the rest of the game. And then that puts him in a really simplified game state because I know his hand as well. It's not looking good. Hit him for, what was that, 25 plus 17, so 35, 4,200. Putting him down to 38. Let's go with set, pass. It's probably a Raikou if I had to guess. Don't exactly remember, but it should be. Normal summon the Blizzard. I do have the Bora engraved, so I'll be able to get the effect this time. Going to level 6. And then that's going to give us Arm Wing. Arm Wing is going to attack. Just going to get the attack boost from Arm Wing and then single Kalutum. And then that's game. Good game, Mike. It's fun playing Edison with you. And next up, we're going to move on to GOAT format. We got Mike and Max playing tonight. Max is on the bottom playing his Warrior deck with the Chaos stuff in it. And then we got Mike on the top playing his Chaos deck, which you guys have seen, I think, once or twice on the channel now. Mike's a big fan of GOAT. Max used to play GOAT, but now he's getting back into it. He's been playing a lot on Dueling Book. So Max has Mirror Force, Blade Knight, Graceful, Blade Knight, Solemn, and Call of the Haunted. Pretty trap-heavy deck for the Warriors. Actually, we played our first GOAT locals this last weekend. I played Max in the last round, and I brought in Royal Decree just because I knew he was playing a bunch of traps. Worked out well in one of the games, at least. One of the games, he just had like 5 traps and I couldn't play. And as you are about to see, that's literally what's happening to Mike right now. Max has 5 traps with, multiple Solemn Judgments, so this is never good. Mike has triple Metamorphosis, Book, Chaos Grepher, and Magical Merchant. It's safe to say he bricked because he has way too many duplicates. And then with Max having 5 back row, it's not looking good early on. He's going to meta. He's going to be able to take Max's Blade Knight. And then he's going to attempt to attack. And Max has many back rows, so he's just used one of them. Socrates Armor, it's going to go ahead and out his Thousand Eyes Restrict. Max will get his Blade Knight back in his graveyard. Go ahead and pass it over after he sets one. Max has the top deck Kaiku. He's going to go ahead and attack. But he's not going to take it this turn at least. At the Book of Moon, pretty good. Book of Moon on Kaiku always feels so great because you also out the flip effect. Or sorry, the lingering effect, meaning you can't banish cards from your graveyard for the following turn. But Max in the battle phase has the Call of the Haunted to give some more damage at least. Mike's going to go ahead and Chaos Sorcerer, which it literally came up as I called it because the Kaiku was face down. But the Solemn Judgment, unfortunately, just too strong. That card's ridiculous. It's at 3 in GOAT, so just a lot of... It's just ridiculous. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and try and Ring Destruction, but another Solemn is just getting crazy at this point. But he is still going to take the same amount of damage, pretty much, 2,000. And then Mike's going to go ahead and get hit for 3,800, plus lose a couple cards in his graveyard. That's it. Pass it over to Mike. Mike can top deck. Just sets one, passes. He's got 2,200 in his graveyard. This would have been nice to have a third Solemn Judgment, but Max does not, so he's going to get Mirror Forced and lose his board. And Call of the Haunted is gone now too, so there's no more implications in the battle phase. Main phase 2, he's just going to summon Zombyra and pass. That was a good move by Max because Zombyra can't attack directly, so summoning in main phase 2 just kind of helped out. And now he doesn't have to play around Mirror Force, so there's no reason to put Zombyra in defense. And Max is just going to attack, and then Reconstruction for game. So we'll move on to game 2. Good job, Max. He had to set Mirror Force too. It's pretty strong. You see Max got all the way down to 2k life points. That was literally just from 2 Solemn Judgments. So Ring of Destruction from the opponent, when on their terms, is very strong against Max's Warrior deck, just because of all the Solemn Judgments. So you can see Mike sided in the Jinzo because of all the traps. He has Lightning Vortex and a few other cards. Yeah. Well, we'll see what Mike can do. He's going first this turn. He's set 1 pass, play it conservatively. Max has the Pot of Greed, Knock, Nobleman, Songen, and 1 other card. He's going to go ahead and draw 2 off Pot of Greed. It's probably my favorite thing about Go format, just having the Pot of Greed. He's a normal summon Songen, that's always pretty intimidating. He's going to go ahead and take 1,000 points of damage. He's going to go ahead and set 1 and pass it over. Mike's got the Tsukiyomi flip on Songen. He's going to go ahead and attack it, and then Max will get a search off of it. He's going to call forward Mystic Swordsman level 2, because that is generally effective against Chaos decks due to all the flip effect monsters, such as Moth and whatnot. Dekoichi. I don't think Mike plays Dekoichi, but it's the right call. Torrential 1-for-1. I think Mike's just trying to burn through his traps here because he does have Jinzo. So he's willing to do a lot of these low value trades just to get rid of them, and also just to keep Max in a minimalistic game state here. Nobleman on the Moth just really hurts. Mike does only play 2. So you saw that he did the 1-for-1 trade with Torrential. And now Max is going to attack with Blade Knight for 1,600. But the one thing the Warrior deck does not like is Liquid Duo. You only have 1 Chaos BLS, so getting Lights in the Darks is just not really that good for us. As much as a deck with Chaos Sorcerers and everything, there's just not much things you want to lose in your hand. The resource game is a lot more stingy when it comes to the Warriors versus like Chaos or Chaos Turbo, where you have a lot of things that recur, a lot of advantage. He's going to let Tsukiyomi the Blade Knight, but he's going to get Sakuretsu'd, so unfortunately Tsukiyomi will not survive another turn to get back to the hand to safety. Mike's going to go ahead and set another one and pass it over. Go ahead and flip the Blade Knight. Gonna attack and Ring of Destruction. Alright, they'll both take 1,600 points of damage. And Max is gonna summon another Blade Knight. Blade Knight, such a classic card. When you control 1 or less cards in your hand, it gains 400 attack, so that puts it to 2,000. And then if it attacks over a flip effect monster, while it's the only monster you control, it negates that monster's effect. So you can see Mike's really going 1-for-1 with his major traps, just because he's trying to get Jinzo out and get some kind of value out of his traps. Because now he really wants to simplify the game state against Max. He wants to basically eliminate all of Max's traps going forward. And I think that was the right call. Jinzo is just pretty sacky against the Chaos Warrior deck, as well as Royal Decree. Max also has a Snatch Steal. Luckily, Mike has the MST to stop the exchange there. But Max, crazy enough, has the BLS, and this will do it because if you attack once, you get to attack again. If you beat over a monster, and that's enough. So, good game to you guys. You guys played very well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's episode of Friday Night Duel Night. We'll see you guys again in the future episodes. If you're new to the channel and you think we've earned your subscription, go ahead and hit that button. We really appreciate it as we close in on 1,000 subscribers. Thank you, Dark Overlord, and thank you, Phil. Peace out.